Hey guys, welcome back to 1776 or Bust. So today I'm really actually excited to do this video because it's a gun I haven't shown too much of, or if at all actually. And you know, I've got to say it's probably one of my most favorite and most coveted firearms that I own right now. And this is going to be about this guy right here, which is my P226. This is the aluminum stainless Elite. Just a beautiful firearm. You know, we'll take it to the table so you can get a closer look at it. But I mean, every stretch of the imagination, this is kind of the in my opinion, as close to a perfect firearm as you can find. The look is beautiful. The trigger is very good. Nice smooth take up on the double action. Extremely short reset thanks to the SRT trigger. But overall, when I think about a classy looking firearm or a classic firearm, this is the one that comes to my mind in my collection, just for the simple fact that it's just absolutely beautiful, from the wood grips to the entire stainless slide, and then obviously the aluminum lower. So we'll take it to the table. I'll give you a close-up look about this gun just so you can see it, and then I'm going to be shooting this week, at least I hope so. And then I'll follow up with a range review on what I thought about it. But if it shoots anything like the 250, due to the slide length and the weight of the gun, I don't see any real issues with it, but I can't wait to take this out. 226 has a great reputation in many of the gun communities out there, and I would suspect that this would be nonetheless probably one of the best firearms that I have currently in my collection. So let's go to the table, let's take a close look at it, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned.
Hey guys, welcome back to the table. And in front of you, you see this beautiful classic series. This is the aluminum stainless Elite, the 226. You can tell it's an Elite because of the extended beaver tail here. So, you know, for me, when I look at this gun, if I was not even to say one word about this gun at all, let me zoom in a little bit more. But if I was going to say one word about this gun as a whole, I would absolutely say perfect. Now, it's hard for me to say that there is a perfect gun out there, but I mean, this comes pretty damn close to it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it really does meet every single need that I would look for in a firearm. First off, we already know there's a super reliable history behind the 226. Secondly, it is also just a really good trigger system, double action, single action. The double action is pretty smooth, albeit a little bit heavy, but the single action is just absolutely, I mean, it's butter, guys. It's perfect. You have a short reset trigger on this thing, and from all aspects, the trigger system itself is just complete. And what I mean by that is you're not going to really see many complain about it. The length of the gun is pretty good. It's 4.5-inch barrel. So, I mean, it's a long slide. So you're going to have the ability to have a little bit more, I guess you could say, distance power. More importantly, a little less felt recoil based on the fact that you have a gun that is a little bit heavier on the slide, a little bit heavier all in the body. So you would suspect that that would be a little bit less recoil. Now, I just recently shot the P220. So if you don't mind, go check that video out. And the 220 shot like a 9mm. It's fantastic, especially 45 ACP. The gun weighed just enough to really mitigate any felt recoil. So I'm suspecting that when I shoot this, it's going to be very, very similar to that feeling. Now, when you take a look at this gun, I mean, obviously it has the rosewood grips on it, which are absolutely beautiful. Very, very nice, smooth looking finish to it. It does have a little bit of texturing on the side of the grip here with the Sig emblem emblazoned in there. And on the other side, it's exactly the same. And again, just absolutely perfect. Again, this was a used firearm, and it's kind of crazy to think that because this gun looks brand new, never used. This particular model has the short reset trigger, so I'll kind of show you that here in a second. So once you get your double action, which is pretty heavy, but it's a fairly smooth take up to right about there. And then you stage that trigger and shoot. It's a nice smooth take up. The beauty of the single action is that short reset trigger right there. It's super short, very responsive, just a beautiful trigger. And it does have the original trigger shoe, which is a little bit thicker than the 220. The short reset trigger is a little bit thinner in metal versus this one, which I like actually a little bit better. That's actually a short reach trigger, I should say. So overall, you have a double action, single action. You have your decocker that's available right there. So basically, if you're in, you know, full cock position to carry this gun, you want to be able to decock it. Decocker is fairly easy to reach as long as you have the thumb to do it. The grip itself is a little bit thicker due to the fact that these wood grips, I think, have a little bit more size to them. But overall, it's still a very comfortable fit. You have the extended beaver tail in the rear. So when you do go to shoot this gun, you never have to worry about that slide from the Sig hitting you. A, because it sits pretty high atop the firearm, but also B, because of this really extended beaver tail right there. So, I mean, overall, it's a very, very good fit and finish to the firearm as a whole. Basically, when you look at this gun, one person might say that the only thing they don't like is that it's almost like a two-tone finish. The aluminum alloy has a darker finish to it versus the stainless steel slide. The stainless looks a little bit more like a white silver versus the aluminum, which has a little bit more of a gray hue to it. For me, it doesn't mean anything. I think it looks beautiful the way it is, and it's just fantastic. The gun actually comes with two 15-round magazines. This one has the flat base plate. Unfortunately, I don't have one near me with the kind of like this one here, which is a 229 base plate. So you can use these. This is for a 229, so it's a little bit too short. But if you do have a PX9 from Tish's, those are actually 226 magazines, and they go right in, no problem. I mean, overall, this is probably one of the finest firearms that I've owned in quite a while. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got like that satin finish on the slide, so it's not really going to, be too reflective on the coating, which is really nice. All of the controls are very easily available in regards to where your finger position would be. So like it's super easy to eject the magazine, super easy to actuate the decocker, super easy to lock the slide back, and of course to let the slide drop. I mean, overall, everything is really just perfect. It is just a very nice looking firearm. This comes with the original Sig Night light sights, or Sig, I think it's Sig Night, Sig Light night sights, whichever one. But you can see there's none of that bright green in the front, which the new Sig X-rays are, which are very nice. I'm probably not going to do much with this gun because I'm going to keep it as an original condition and probably never carry it. Interestingly enough, from what I've read, this should be able to fit in a 220 holster, which I just got. It's a leather one. And so what I might do is just kind of as a, maybe as a trial run it for a couple of days, but I doubt it because I really don't want to do anything to this overall firearm. Comparing it to its little brother, let me zoom out a little bit on this one. So this is obviously the 229 Elite, and this is in the titanium blue. But you can see lengthwise, you're going to have a longer slide, which is obviously very evident. And the grip on the 226 on the left is a little bit longer than the 229 on the right, but barely. I mean, it's just a very, very slight overage on the grip. So if you're worried about concealing this particular firearm, I don't really think you're going to have any trouble. I think it's going to work. It's just as long as you dress around it. I mean, overall, what are my thoughts about this as kind of like the preview of shooting it? I've got to say, I can't wait to run this gun for a few rounds. I think it's going to handle very nicely. The only thing that I would say might not work with me are the grips. The reason why I'm saying that is because you do have a very slick back to the grip, as you guys can see right here. So there really is no stippling or texturing there. Although on the front, you do have the texturing on the aluminum frame, which again gives you a good enough bite for the fingers on the front. But I think overall, it should work well. I mean, I don't see anything really long-standing that's going to hold me back from loving this gun. So what I'd like to hear from you guys is what's been your experience with Sig 226s, if you've owned them, if you own them right now, or if you kind of passed them over because, well, Sig has all these other guns out there that in some cases, some people might think are a little bit better. Obviously, the AXGs with the aluminum lowers for the 320s. Obviously, the Legion series, which, to be honest with you, I've never owned a Legion, but I've had no complaints with any of the SRT trigger systems on these. And I really think for the price, you're talking the difference a couple $100, and those $100 can be ammunition, holsters, whatever you need. But I think for overall people who are looking for a great SIG, if you can find one of these, pick it up because it's actually a gem. It really is. It's a beautiful firearm. Very, very classic looking, and more importantly, it's going to have a great, reliable history, being a fact that it's 226. So leave some comments down below. Tell me what your thoughts are. And again, I will be shooting this very soon, so we'll be returning hopefully within a week to show you those results. Hopefully they're good. But again, appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have a great night. Stay safe, and as always, everyone, freedom is never free.